India lost power to hundreds of millions of people because they have an old, inefficient infrastructure system for delivering power. This country's infrastructure system for delivering power is, in many cases, in the Northeast in particular, 60 or 70 years old. And when that was put down, when you had the copper wires, when you had all this stuff that all of a sudden came together, it was built for an electrical grid that was so much smaller than it is now. Electricity was almost like a prized commodity that people use sometimes. Now everything runs on our hospitals, our national defense grid, water, dams, you name it. You can't get anything without electricity. So the question is, even for conservatives who are concerned about spending right now, who have worries about our government going way beyond its means into debt, can conservatives or are conservatives willing to make the argument that because of what we've seen in a place like India, because of the sort of glimpses of it we saw in 2003 in this country, are we in a place where we need to spend billions of dollars actually because the infrastructure needs to be upgraded? Does anyone, are we willing to make that argument?
Didn't we have a stimulus package to do this? we had a stimulus package. Don't we have a president who said he was going to bankrupt the coal industry?
Yes.
Okay, so
we do.
We don't need electricity.
You spent the money on infrastructure. Where the hell is it? And how are you going to run it if you don't have coal?
Well, just because it was done poorly once. I mean, look, this should be.
Let's do it again then.
No, but you think. Look, I mean, we're discussing vulnerabilities. I mean, the private industry, in this case, is the one that owns a lot of these sites. DHS is offering some help in protecting the sites. But should there be efforts to modernize? I mean, apart from whether it's government-initiated or private sector, I mean, is this a national security vulnerability for us that we could just lose power at some point in time? Even if it's only for a couple of days, that could have major implications.
I mean, I have no way to evaluate the answer to that question. I'm not an engineer. I haven't studied our infrastructure, across this country. Who knows? But when I look at how Americans did respond to the 2003 blackout, which I believe actually started from a switch in Canada, the storm blackouts that we just experienced. Katrina. Well, Katrina is in a separate category. When I get to my point, you'll see why. The storm blackouts, that Americans behaved really well. That there weren't these crazy riots and people rampaging into other people's homes and so forth. You did see that at Katrina, and it was heartbreaking. But I think when we're looking at this Mad Max, almost zombie-like landscape, should there be an outage, I think we can actually take pride in ourselves that we're more civilized people.
Guns and MREs?
I'm with you.
I was reading. I don't know
okay,
if
you
this
guys are going to be holed up in your bunker.
Well, anyway.
I don't know if this is accurate, but I was reading that it couldn't happen as extensively across the country because the way the grids are set up, they actually divide the country in half, so it wouldn't be as extensive as something that happened in India. It wouldn't be vastly across the United States. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, it makes me feel
Look,
better.
if it's a national security vulnerable, we're all conservatives at this table. We don't like excessive government spending. I think we can just get that out there. But if it's a national security vulnerability, then there should be some effort, I would think, in order to patch this up. And clearly